Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what time you're watching this. My name's Connor from 905 Review. You guys are checking out our series Give This a Spin, where I recommend you some of my favorite albums. And what a special episode we have on our hands today, because this is a series I started years ago as an attempt to do something productive with my free time, debuting with a review of Joy Division's Unknown Pleasures. Now, 100 episodes and 1,000 subscribers later, it feels fitting we cover their follow-up, Closer. Joy Division was formed after some friends caught a Sex Pistols show, enamored and inspired by a group unlike any they had ever seen. Under their original name Warsaw, the band gained attention rather instantly thanks to their energetic live set, and while they would eventually change their name to separate themselves from a similarly named group, Joy Division was still on brand, referring to some concentration camp practices. And the imagery didn't stop there either when you consider the artwork of their debut, the EP Unideal for Living. And while this drew attention towards the band as their political beliefs would be questioned, it was promotion nonetheless. Continuing to impress, Joy Division would be signed by RCA Records, but actually bailed on them after the label kept trying to influence them to change their sound. Instead, they would sign with the newly established Factory Records, with whom they would release their landmark debut, Unknown Pleasures. It was cold, it was ominous, it was nothing like the band sounded like. You listen to any of their early live recordings, and they sound more like their contemporaries playing with speed and angst. This change came at the discretion of the album producer Martin Hannett, and it gave Joy Division this unique, depressing sound within the punk scene. Something he would pull again on their 1980 album, Closer. The album does, however, begin with one of its more energetic songs thanks to an all-time drum beat and some gnarly guitar, Atrocity Exhibition. That title comes directly from a novel written by English author J.G. Ballard, someone who is highly influential to Joy Division frontman Ian Curtis's writing at this time. Brilliant if true, but the connection I read somebody made was that Ian was known to suffer from epilepsy, which, would happen on stage. So he could be likening himself and the people who were hoping to see that to mental patients who would be on display, or even further back in time, gladiators who were often slaves, right? And so just comparing all these people who are going through the absolute worst moments of their lives and others who are paying to see that for their own enjoyment.
Where people that pay to see inside, for entertainment they watch his body twist, behind his eyes he says I still exist.
Wow, that made me sad. But buckle up, because that's only the first song, and a brilliant one nonetheless. So while Joy Division dropped RCA on their insistence that the band use more synthesizer, they actually find themselves doing so here on Isolation. What's immediately obvious is how upbeat this one is, but despite that, it's speculated that this is about the guilt that Ian felt after cheating on his wife. So there's that. It's also not hard to see how Joy Division would go on to become the synth-pop group New Order, but with that being said, this song doesn't belong on a Joy Division record to me. A New Order one, sure, but this isn't what I'm looking to hear in between Atrocity Exhibition and our gloomy third track, Passover. Passover keeps this spacious sound, led by its drum rhythm and occasionally rumbling bass guitar, as well as the harsh guitar that chimes in between verses. And with a title like that, it should come as no surprise that there's reference to the Bible here. But beyond that, it's up in the air, as even Curtis's bandmates weren't sure what the meaning behind his words are. The lyrics are vague enough they can be interpreted any which way, but with that idea of his infidelity already in my head, it's kind of hard to ignore that.
People who change for no reason at all, happening all of the time. Can I go on with this train of events?
We keep the grit and up the tempo on the next one, Colony. And while the guitar is much more present here, it is again used primarily as a bridge between verses. In case you didn't realize, this is a sad album, but that is kind of easy to miss with how punk it is at the same time. And as a matter of fact, Curtis's bandmates didn't even see his writing as a reflection of himself. I mean, with the benefit of hindsight, that's easy to see, knowing what we know, but it's not rare whatsoever for people to be blindsided when somebody takes their life, as Ian did. I bring all this up because we're not even halfway through the album yet, and you can already get a sense for just how lonely Curtis felt. And the music really can mask that.
Cruel wind that piles down through our lunacy, unleashing standing cold here in this colony.
We're not going to feel any better on the next one, A Means to an End. It's another upbeat one, but no happier than the rest of the album. It's another that the lyrics are vague enough that they could be about anything, but again, naturally the affair is the first thing that pops up into my head.
Eternal rights we left behind. We were the better kind, the same, set free too.
On the lyrics website Genius, in the comments section for this song, people are speculating all over the place that it would be about God or his bandmates or the Jonestown Massacre or Hitler, so do with that what you will. We flip the record over and drop off some of that energy with Heart and Soul. It's another with a lot of breathing room, led by its bass and quick-paced drums. And over this, Curtis has more of a spoken word delivery to his lyrics. That mood is continued even slower on the next 24 hours. It does pick up for a jam here and there, but most of it is led by its drums and bass. Again, there's not much here in terms of singing. Curtis speaks rather on intense feelings of loneliness and regret. It's such a heavy-hearted song.
The lengths I'd have to go, all the darkest corners of a sense I didn't know.
We continue this long burn with the slowest of all, The Eternal. On this one, Ian feels remorse for a neighbor of his family's. Ian grew up in proximity to this mentally delayed boy, and so when Ian came back to town many years later as an adult, this boy was also an adult but still living the same life he had lived as a child and under strict supervision. Between its snail's pace, the piano, the ambience, they make this song physically feel like this huge weight over you.
At the foot of the garden, watching them pass like clouds in the sky.
The pace increases slightly, but the mood remains the same on the album closer. The closer of the album closer, Decades. While there is an attention-grabbing synth I would describe as sounding bright, it combined with Curtis's monotone delivery makes for this bittersweet feeling.
Betrayal of the drama, degeneration.
The song is another with vague lyricism, but ultimately seems to be about fighting some sort of struggle. Closer is available on all major music formats, and one thing that we've seen a handful of times on my channel is how international distributors will have their own artwork for an album. Such is the case with the Saudi Arabian cassettes of Closer. What is going on here? In 2006, the album was released on a picture disc as well as on a red vinyl. The following year, the collector's edition was released featuring a second disc that captures a live performance in London from 1980. This was released again in 2010 in an exclusive metal box. In 2008, Factory released this on yellow and green, And the following year, they did a couple marbled variants, these being brown, gray, purple, and blue. In 2011 came some more unique variants, mustard yellow, lemon yellow, powder blue, and salmon pink. In 2012 came some more marbled ones, white, pastel yellow, turquoise, olive, pastel orange, red, and blue, as well as gray, white, and pink in the standard variants. For the album's 40th anniversary in 2020, it was sold on a 100-gram crystal clear record. And in 2009 in France, you could get this CD that also came with a DVD documentary, though this package wasn't branded as Closer. Joy Division had already become a name thanks to their fantastic debut, Unknown Pleasures. But with Ian Curtis taking his life less than a year after its release, the intrigue around the group's second album, coming 2 months after his passing, would only grow. It received rave reviews, many calling it an improvement even over their debut, and has since gone on to be featured on many all-time best albums lists, and especially best albums of the 80s lists. If you had any knowledge of this album coming into it, surely you knew this would not be an uplifting experience. I love Joy Division's sound. It's phenomenal. They use it to create such a terribly moody album, and I mean that in the best way. With everything in mind, I'll be stamping Closer with an A grading, and honestly that's a bit of a surprise to myself because I've always considered Unknown Pleasures to be the better of the two. Both are great, there's just a hiccup here and there on the track list, but I guess the distance between them is a lot closer than I previously thought. But that just wraps up my thoughts on Joy Division and their second album, Closer. Let me know yours. Thank you so much for tuning in to the 101st episode of Give This a Spin. Maybe you'll catch the 102nd. I'll see you then. But real quick before we take off, what were your thoughts on Joy Division's second album, Closer? Did I rate it too high or did I rate it too low? You let me know down below, as well as any other comments you want to share or albums you want me to check out. And until next time, thanks for stopping by. See ya.